So what were you doing earlier this morning?
Earlier this morning, I woke up and, are we recording now?
Yeah.
Oh, we are. Oh, cool. You didn't even tell me.
No, don't tell anyone.
Okay. I woke up this morning and I actually, did a poster design for my friends who are in a band and they're playing at Dark Matter. So I got commissioned to do like a flyer. So I did that this morning, and then I got food and coffee at Starbucks. Shout out Starbucks, because I need more money or anything. But yeah, I went there and then I got here.
Nice.
It was like 7 minutes away.
Sick.
Yeah, it was the quickest drive ever. I love convenience. I really do.
Yeah. I love living over here. Everything's walkable or within a mile.
Well, I'm actually moving soon.
Oh, really?
I don't really know where I'm moving at yet, but I'm moving in with my friends, and I'm really excited about that because they're all musicians. They're all artists.
Awesome.
So right now I'm living with some roommates, but I haven't really yet moved in or lived with any of my friends before, so I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be like an art house.
Sick.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be here in East?
I don't know if it's gonna be here in East. We're mostly trying to find a house in West Nashville. That's where our friends are, and my friends who are from here, their parents, their family lives in West Nashville too. And my future roommate, Happy, he's going to Nashville State. So that's near there. And he also works at Trader Joe's, so we're going to get 20% off for groceries, which is going to be amazing. But I don't really mind if I have to take the drive. It's really not that bad of a drive, but I work in East Nashville, so it's either between East Nashville or West Nashville because we work in East Nashville. But with East Nashville, it is very it's busy all the time, and I kind of like how quiet and just more I don't know. There's more convenience in West Nashville too.
Yeah, having the Trader Joe's there. They need one in East.
I know. Well, they got Trader Joe's, they got Target, they got... they have all this stuff near East Nashville, but this stuff is smack dab in the middle of West, where I want to live.
Right.
Target, Trader Joe's, Home Depot, every convenience store and good restaurant. All the Thai places that I know of are over there, so...
Maybe the West is going to become the new East.
Maybe. I don't know.
It'd be cool if that part got really artsy and...
I know that South Nashville is pretty artsy right now. That's where Wedgwood, Houston area is, and that's where the Art Crawl is, and a bunch of art gallery spaces there. So I know that's kind of where a lot of places with artists are showing their art. There's a Turnip Green over there, which is my favorite place on the planet Earth. It's a surplus store, and basically it's just anything that's gonna be trashed is sold there, but a name your price kind of way. So you go there and you can find a bouquet of fake flowers, or a bunch of fabric, or just random objects, and you could be okay, I'm gonna spend $10 on all of this. It's really nice.
Where is this?
It's in South Nashville.
And it's just a textile kind of...
It's not textile, it's literally everything.
Surplus
Arts and crafts store. I got a camcorder there. I'm not gonna lie, my cheap ass bought it for $20, but when are you gonna find a camcorder anywhere for just found? That's the thing, you kind of have to dig at some of these places.
It's bins.
It's just I don't even know. It's just a very crowded little art store. It's kind of small, and they just they have one section. So you're into music, you're a musician. So if you go there, you could find a bunch of CDs that they sell, like musician CDs. They have VHS tapes. They have picture frames, which is really convenient, especially for me, because like maybe I'll want to like stretch canvas on a frame or something. They have like everything, and it's just a name your price.
And what is it called?
It's called Turnip Green Creative Reuse.
Turnip Green?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
If you follow them on Instagram too, sometimes they will be like, hot item alert, and they'll like show the item that they found. Like that's like kind of something that's like a lot of people would buy, and they'll show it on Instagram, and like you'll just have to like get there first before someone else buys it. So that's how I found the camcorder. They like posted it on Instagram. I was like, I have to snatch this up.
Wow.
Yeah, you should write that down so you could go.
Turnip Green.
Mm-hmm. They also have like art shows there too and stuff like that. It's the coolest place.
Art surplus.
If you're really into like scavenging and like looking for like junkyard items, that is the place to go. Like, especially if you can't get into like a junkyard, that is like heaven on earth right there.
Wow.
Yeah, you should go.
Just name your price. I like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I will like spend maybe like $40-$50 because it is like a donation too. So you kind of have to like spend money. You don't have to, but it is nice to like to donate, especially if you're like, when I go there, I do have like a shopping cart full of just like fake flowers, because I'm making an installation right now for like with fake flowers, and it's gonna be like an alien installation music video kind of situation. So the whole like shopping cart is just filled. I found moss the other day, like fake moss, and like squiggly flowers, like really cool, interesting fake flowers. But my whole cart was like overflowing, so I was like, I should probably spend more than $20 on this. So I did 30. But yeah, that's pretty much.
Is there just like one person walking around there?
So basically, it's not one person. They're like volunteers, but I think they get paid. It's like a job, so I'm pretty sure they get paid. But there's
really cool.
There's like maybe 3 people that are just like cleaning up stuff because it's so just hoarded in there, like junk. But it's not junk. It's like, you might think it's junk, but like you can find like a doorknob and like put it to a sculpture and make something cool out of it.
Yeah.
That's like the thing of being an artist, is like you can see something that's like literal trash and be like, I can make something out of that. You know what I mean?
Make it beautiful.
Yeah. Just make it like
grotesque.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't have to be beautiful. It could just be like crazy.
Yeah.
Or outrageously like just something that you wouldn't expect a doorknob. Just something that you would have
so
trashed.
Out of place. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they have a store for this, because it's like, it's also kind of, I guess, in a way saving like stuff from being trashed. So it's like reusing stuff and upcycling it and then making it into like other things, which is like basically my whole practice. Awesome. Besides painting.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to the Nashville Artist Podcast. I'm Jordan, and today Grace Hall is here.
Woo!
Awesome.
Yay!
So
Audience claps. Yay! This is fun.
All right, y'all can sit down.
No, don't stand. Don't stand. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming. Like, this is really amazing.
They're all down there.
Crowd surfs. Slaps everyone's hands, gives everyone a high five. Anyways, yes, thank you for having me.
Yes.
This is already fun. We were talking about Turnip Green for at least 10 minutes before this.
I know, I've learned so much.
Yeah,
already.
You definitely need to go to that. Anyways, yes.
This is great. Either way, if I even go in there and there's not something I'm not interested in, I think just visually seeing all that stuff would be like, inspiring.
For sure. Have you ever been to McKay's?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that, but like messy and small.
Messy and small.
So it's just like overwhelming, kind of, in the best way.
Wow. I can imagine. I know exactly, or I can just picture that.
Yeah, McKay's is awesome. It's like, it's so like neat in there too. Like both meanings of neat. Like it's neat, like clean neat, but it's also like you can find like everything there.
Just organized.
Organized, and everything that you couldn't imagine being like put into a book form.
Yeah.
Like they got every genre.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I need to go there. It's been like a year since I've been.
You should definitely go.
I usually go and just sell stuff and then get a little money to buy stuff.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I accidentally
Why wait in line? Why browse?
Yeah.
Doing my shit.
That's not the best thing though, because then you're gonna just spend more money.
Cool. So where are you from?
So originally I'm from New York. My family's from there, and then we moved to Tennessee in first grade, and they moved to Hendersonville, which is like a little like suburban town, which is like so different from like moving from New York. And then like 2016 and up, I like started going to Nashville, like downtown, not downtown, but started to go to Nashville and go to like music shows and stuff like that. People always make fun of me when I say music shows. I'm gonna just shows.
Well, it could be an art show.
Well, yeah, true. But they were music shows. And then that's where I started meeting like a bunch of like artists in Nashville. And it was really cool because like I had friends in high school who were artists, but I didn't have like friends who were really like doing stuff with their art. Like not just going to art class in high school. It was like they were like 100% like that is their passion and thing is doing art. So I met those people, like, and most of them were musicians. But yeah, we moved from New York to Tennessee when I was in first grade. My dad used to be the creative director for WWE Wrestling, and then he got a job at TNA Wrestling in Nashville. So we were gonna move to Nashville, but it was just like a whole lot cheaper in Hendersonville, which I'm kind of glad I moved to Hendersonville because it was like really quiet and nice, and like there was a lake, which was just like very calming. Like I love like being in nature, but I'm also like a city person too. So moving to Nashville was awesome because it was like the best of both worlds of those two things, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I went to school in Chicago after high school at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago for 3.5 years, and then I dropped out. And then I don't know, it was a big decision of mine, but it's on and off of like, you know, just thinking about it all the time and then being like, this was my decision and I'm really happy about it. But overall, I am really happy about moving to Nashville and like moving back here and seeing my old friends and meeting like even like more people and like amazing people that I'm just like so grateful to have in my life. So yeah, so that's my life.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 2 older brothers. One's my middle child brother, I guess. His name is Spencer, and he's 27. He's about to turn 28 in April. And then my oldest brother, Jason, he's 32. And he actually lives in the Nations. And then my brother Spencer lives in Chicago. So yeah, and they're both journalists.
Wow.
So my whole family is basically an artist family. My mom used to be a photographer, and she stopped she still does it, but she stopped doing that. And then now she like crochets, and she's amazing at it. She didn't crochet this hat that I'm wearing, but she did crochet like a bunch of other things.
Wow.
Yeah, and my dad is a graphic designer. He used to be a painter. He used to actually design toys before WWE Wrestling, and like he would do like Crayola and all of that stuff, like advertising, which is super cool. And now he's like kind of just like doing like freelance. So he does like graphic design for like Harley Davidson, motorcycles, and in his free time, he carves stone.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're really amazing.
What kind of stone? Like marble?
There's like all kinds, like limestone he really likes. I don't really know, like soapstone he likes to carve. I don't know. I don't really know like rocks. You would have to ask him that. But his name is Cliff, which is kind of like, I just now realized that. His name is Cliff and he likes to carve stones. Well, his real name is Clifford, but he goes by Cliff.
Right.
So I could probably show you.
Man, that's awesome. Carving stone.
Yeah, he makes like abstract stones. But this is some of his stuff. If you guys want to check his stuff out, his Instagram is Hall, DZINE. But yeah, these are his.
Damn.
Yeah. He just goes at it with a chisel and a hammer.
That's incredible, and how smooth it is.
This one too, it's a representation, like abstracted representation of the mother and child.
Oh, wow.
So, but yes.
I can see it.
Yeah, and her arm is around the baby and it's rocking. It's like a movable sculpture.
Wow.
Yeah, and then this is another one, but yeah.
I need to, it's at child,
Child. It's Hall.
Hall.
Design, but it's spelled DZINE.
Cool.
And his profile picture is Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Nice.
Yeah. But this is his drawings too.
Wow. Does your mom also have art on Instagram?
Let me see, because I don't think my mom really posts any of her art. She posts... Let's see. She needs to start posting her crochet work because it's amazing.
Yeah, I would really like to see that.
She did make me this dress one time, though. And she sews. So my dad bought her a sewing machine for Christmas and like a dress form, which is like a mannequin where you could like, I guess, sew stuff onto. And she turned she turned my brother's old bedroom into a sewing room, which is kind of funny. Because it's just funny. You would think like, oh, like it's usually like I'll put like a gym in here, but no, she like did a whole sewing machine. Oh, here it is. This is the sweater that she made me. Yeah,
incredible.
She's
like
really
how
good.
Long it is.
It's really long. Yeah. If you ever want one, hit her up. Her Instagram is Linda Hall 5546. But yeah, I'm like giving everyone my parents' Instagrams right now.
Well, it's crazy. It's awesome when you come from an art family.
Yeah.
It's rare that you meet someone and they're like, my entire family are artists.
It's kind of crazy, yeah.
You'll hear like, yeah, my dad played guitar or something.
True.
Like, my mom played piano or whatever, but then you don't hear like, yeah, my dad
like visual
carved stone.
Yeah. I'm really grateful for it. They met in art school, so I think that's probably why they're both artists. They met my mom's from Queens, New York, so she's like a real like Queens like girl. Like she has like a thick accent. My dad has an accent too, which is kind of funny. But they went to the School of Visual Arts in New York, and yeah, they met. It's kind of like
cool.
It's kind of like a movie. I think I might just be exaggerating this, and this might not actually be the story of how they've met, but apparently he was like drawing her, and she's like, oh, what is that? He was like, it's nothing. Just like a brooding artist, just, trying to show off his talents, but not being too obvious with it. Shut up. But it's also cute at the same time.
Oh man, that is cute.
I know. So yeah, that
could be a movie.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because at my family's home, there's like two pictures. I don't know if I should say this, but whatever. In the bathroom, there's like nude like drawings of like a woman, but you can't see her face. I'm pretty sure it's my mom.
Oh really?
Yeah, my dad drew them.
That's funny.
Yeah.
My dad also drew my mom.
Really?
Like naked.
I gotta see that.
Like cartoon, like of him too.
Oh, a cartoon of it?
Yeah, but
cool.
It's pretty like, I mean, it's pretty detailed.
You gotta send me that because I want to see that. If you ever get the picture of that.
Yeah, I remember like when I was younger, it'd be like my mom's dressing room, and like, but it'd be covered up. Her would be covered up, obviously. But,
like her boobs?
Yeah, like, and like it would be.
Or her body
parts? Yeah, and it was like something my dad drew of my mom when they were like extremely young. Like.
Yeah. This face was like looking backwards, so you couldn't really tell if it was her or not. But it looks like her, like it looks like her hair and stuff, so I mean it has to be her. If I don't know though, maybe you just drew like a figure model in like drawing class at art school or something. That's why I don't really know, you know. But I'll ask someday.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's nice having them like nearby too. It's just like 18 minutes away from East Nashville, so like that's where I'll like go and like just go and see them and make some art in their garage. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what were you into as a kid?
What was I into as a kid? I mean, I was into art, obviously, just because like I was brought up into that just like life. So I had like old pictures of like me in the basement in New York, and it was like a really cool basement. There was like a fire escape, but it was like a house on like a cliff. It was really weird. It used to be sorry, I'm like steering away from the question, but it used to be owned by like Freemasons, this house, and it had like a triangular garage. So it was in Ripley's, believe it or not. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. It was very weird, but we had a really cool basement, and that's where my dad would work. And so he would do like graphic design in there and stuff like that, and like cutting out stuff. And there was like a little desk for me, so I would like always be drawing like still lifes and stuff like that while he's like doing his thing. And then my dad still does this, but he has like a huge, just 20,000 sketchbooks, and he just draws whatever he sees. So it's really cool to like see old pictures of like when I was like little, like just laying down drawing in my sketchbook. There's a drawing of like my drawing in my book of so he drew a drawing of me drawing a picture.
Wow.
It's like kind of meta.
That's awesome.
It's like Inception.
Right.
Kind of. But yeah, so I've always really just loved drawing. I think that was my main thing. And I used to want to be an astronaut, but I don't think I would want to do that. I really liked bike riding, I guess. Yeah, I used to really like bike riding, actually. Like, I would like go on long bikes. I don't do that anymore. What else did I like to do as a kid? I don't know. Yeah, I think that was it. It was mostly art.
Right.
That was like my like best friend. That is like my best friend. Like that is like my love is art.
So you started drawing like when you were a little kid. Did it eventually like evolve in high school to different mediums?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. So when I was in New York, I wasn't like fully invested into art, but I knew it was always something that I liked to do. And
this is when you're in like first grade. Right?
Yeah, like first grade below, because I was like little. Like I'm not gonna be like making like paintings that are like beautiful. Like it was just like I was a little kid, so I liked to like make. Yeah, I was experimenting. And then so basically, I like the arts in New York, just like where I went to school. Like it just wasn't that great. So moving to like Hendersonville was actually kind of like life-changing way. Like it's not the best town, it's kind of boring, but it was life-changing. I think about this a lot for my art because I met this art teacher there named Sandy Kandros. She's the best. She was like my grandma. She was like my third grandma, and she taught me from like second grade to like senior year of high school. And I went to after school art classes with her in this old like army home called Mont Haven School of Arts. It's just like a little after-school arts class. And she just taught us everything, how to experiment, how to abstract, how to do realism, how to look at like still lifes. We did like paper mache sculptures, and I made like a 3-headed monster once. It was amazing. Like, I just loved her. And then she became my high school art teacher, and she's just like, it's kind of crazy. Like, a couple months ago, I had an art show, and she came to my art show, and it was just like, I didn't even know she was gonna come. It's just like, look at me now. Like, that's so cool. Like, you taught me all of this. Not, you didn't teach me, but you helped me.
Right.
So,
mentored.
Yeah, she mentored me. She's like the number one mentor, besides like my parents, I guess. But yeah, I feel like I don't give her enough credit, so shout out Sandy K.
Sandy K.
Sandy Kindress. Yeah, and she's retiring this year, so I should probably go see her.
Awesome.
Just feel a bit, yeah. Cool.
So, like, what now draws you to the subject? Just...
Yeah. Like, what kind of subject? Like art, just in general?
Yeah, in general. Like, what keeps you coming back?
Yeah. So I went to art school in Chicago, and that was really fun. And thing is, I really liked art school, but I just felt like it was for me, but it wasn't fully for me, and I felt like I kind of needed a break out of like a institution. I just like didn't really like being kind of held back some ways, but they always taught us to like fail and break the rules, but I kind of wanted to break more rules and like kind of expand. So like what kind of drives me is like community and collaboration, and I feel like Nashville really has that, and it's just really nice because I met so many different people who are in like different music scenes, and like working with them has really been cool. And what drives my art though is just basically that, and like experimentation, and not really overthinking, and doing stuff that I like to do and that's fun for me, and not forcing stuff, you know?
Spontaneity.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good water.
And you got a little chalice to drink out of.
Yeah, this is the craziest cup I've ever seen. I feel like I'm in like the Renaissance, or like I feel like I'm at like medieval times. Proceed. This is fun. Like I'm having a good time. Like this
I am too.
Yeah, I love being interviewed. I love talking, I guess.
Great.
Damn.
I've got more questions.
Yes, let's go.
All right, so what do you do now, or how do you develop your art skills now?
How do I develop my art skills? What I do now, really, it just, I feel like I'm a very fast person, so I can't really like stick to something sometimes. So I'm like, this week I'm like really into like drawing, but like 2 weeks ago I was really into collage, and then 3 weeks ago I was really into like sculpture, and then like a month ago I was like really into painting, and it's just like an ever-changing cycle. Oh, and then like this week I'm kind of into like video stuff and like photography, and it's just like with going to SCIC, which was my college, they taught us like it was a interdisciplinary school, and we didn't have grades, which was really weird. Actually, it's not weird at all. I think it was the smart way of going about art school, because art is subjective.
Right.
So we were just critiqued, basically. We would like have to present our artwork and get critiqued. And it was cool because we didn't get majors. They were like, you're gonna go into the school and try everything. So we had a core foundation class, which was our freshman year class, and we had 2 teachers, and they taught us everything that the school provides us. So we learned how to wood shop, 3D print, green screen, sound art, performance art, painting, sculpture. We had to do all of that in 2 semesters, because after those semesters, you get to just choose any kind of class. So I could go in being a painter, and then maybe like figure out that I want to do CGI art or take a performance class. And I got like 3 studios, so I could have taken any kind of medium I wanted. So now I just feel like that has helped me be curious about learning other kind of mediums and not feeling afraid to kind of dive in and dip my toes in the water, or I guess dip my toes in the water and then dive in. And I'm really happy that I am not afraid to kind of feel like I just have to be a painter. Like I find myself doing that sometimes and seeing other people being like confined to like one specific thing. And it's like, no, like we have all of these resources where we could just do anything we want. So yeah, it's just all of that experimentation. It kind of goes back to the turnip green of like finding a doorknob and like making like a 5-foot tall sculpture or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or using the doorknob to bang against a rock to get the sound of the recording.
Yeah, true. It could. That is true.
Musically too.
I was gonna say, like, as a musician, like you
rhythmic.
Yeah, you can incorporate even like just stuff that doesn't sound like music, but just sounds behind your music, and then it becomes like a whole different kind of art piece.
Smashing a bottle. That's
Oh, that'd be cool. Wait, that'd be kind of cool. Like, bam.
Yeah.
At the beginning of a song or something. Steve Austin though did that. The wrestler WWE.
Oh yeah.
I think he did that.
That would make sense as like his intro.
Yeah. It's like Windows crashing.
Oh yeah.
I think it's him. It's some wrestler.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
I don't really know who my favorite wrestler is. It's kind of funny because like I grew up watching it because my brother Jason was like really into it, and my dad was like, oh, he's like, I'm just doing this like because it's my job and like I like art, but I don't know who my favorite wrestler is.
Did you go to like?
I like this is kind of like basic, but I like John Cena as a person. Like he just seems like a good human being. Like he's always on the Nickelodeon Choice Awards, and like he's just like he's funny too. He's like an actor now.
Yeah.
He just seems like a good guy.
That's how I feel with The Rock.
I like The Rock too.
I feel like he's pretty grounded.
Yeah, I don't know though. Yeah, he is. He's like one of the richest people, like most paid actors.
He's like one of the most famous people on earth.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. My dad had his number, and like he had to call him while my mom was giving birth to me.
Wow. That was
because they were doing.
Big.
Yeah, well, it was while he was big.
Oh yeah,
when he worked with him.
90s.
Yeah, in like early 2000s, and
2000s.
Yeah, and like, because I was born in 1999. Yeah, so he had to like call him though because of like work related stuff, which is kind of cool. It's kind of he was a part of my birth.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a picture of my dad in a Santa Claus outfit being like hung upside down by 2 like beefy wrestlers.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a Polaroid picture, so it's like a behind the scenes kind of picture. It's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole other world of art.
Yeah. It really is because
smashing a table, but doing it to where
for sure it's art because the whole production is like extravagant. Like it's so extra. Like
so extra.
I love it. I went to a wrestling match like before the pandemic, so like 2019 with my brother. It was amazing.
Really?
Because I like drank too. Oh, I think I was underage when I drank. No, okay, so I guess so. I guess I was underage. Whatever. It was amazing though, and it was just like I just love like things like that. I'm friends with this one person, and like she's kind of like the same as me, or not same, but she's just like she's really interested in like her name's Blair, and she's really interested in like just funky things. And it's funny to talk to her because she's also an artist. She'll be like, yeah, like I just like like she has like books of like kung fu, like people doing like kung fu, or like she'll like watch like stop motion like animations of people doing like gymnastics or some shit like that. And it's like people like I don't know, I'm going off on a tangent, but because I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But yeah,
wow, that's good.
just little like things that you could like find and dig up, or like interesting, then you can like that are like kind of like weird and extra, like wrestling, yeah, that's what I was talking about. They come out with like fireworks and like explosions, and I'm like, this is amazing. And all of it is acting,
right? This guy's gonna get his head crashed, like
yeah,
like all the commentary,
that, but then they also have storylines, and I'm like, what is going on? This is a soap opera. And like
with
like
violence,
these alpha males and like all that are like so into it, and I'm like, y'all are watching a full-on soap opera of like men beating like each other up and half naked. You know what I mean?
I know.
But I love it.
I guess it's very gladiatorial.
It's really cool, yeah, it is. It's just they have like really big events, like what is it called? It's like the big event. It's like the Olympics for WWE.
Wow.
I don't know what it's called. Is SmackDown? I don't know. Anyways.
Have you been to a lot of these?
I haven't been to a lot, but I've been to a few. I think I've been to 4 in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. I do.
Where do they take place? Like Bridgestone Arena?
Yeah, the last one that I went to with my brother was at Bridgestone, and it was so funny because everyone was so into it.
Right.
And they had like favorites, and they had like villains that they would boo. And it was just so stimulating. Like, my brain was stimulated. Like,
people like get emotional.
People got emotional. There were babies there. It smelled like farts and body odor and nachos all at the same time.
Oh.
But it was like, that was not good, but it was also amazing at the same time. Yeah. The next kind of like crazy thing I want to go to is like a what are the monster truck shows?
Ooh.
I want to go to that.
Yeah, those are cool.
Or like a dog show.
A dog show.
Yeah, just like really big events that a lot of a massive amount of people go to, but it's not like an everyday thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It'd be cool if Nashville built like a coliseum.
Yeah. I guess we have a Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, but I mean,
in a way.
open.
Yeah, true.
Well, I guess we have. Well, yeah, you're right.
That is, like, kinda
yeah,
open.
that is a coliseum, I guess.
But like an actual coliseum.
Yeah, exactly.
Like gladiators.
Circular.
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be so sick. That would be cool.
What if that'd be insane if gladiator stuff like came back? Where there was,
That's
like,
something I would go see too.
like there was like a law where it's like people went to.
Yeah.
And you could like see people kill each other.
Yeah. I don't know if actually I would want to see that now that I think about
Yeah.
it. That'd be kind of traumatizing.
Extremely traumatizing.
I feel like a conquistador would be really cool to see.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a bullfighter. Ah, that'd be so sick. I don't even know what the original question was.
I don't know either.
I don't know. We ended that on bullfighter. Okay, next question, I guess.
So what would you say your artwork represents?
Represents.
Like, does it represent
I don't think it represents
part of you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really know if it represents anything because it's always just, like, changing, but maybe that's something that I have to figure out and, like, really deeply think about. And, yeah, like, now I'm, like, deeply thinking about, and you said it, like, it does represent me. I think it represents my just, like, kind of just, like I said, like, my brain kind of just works fast, and it's, like, sometimes I can't really get thoughts out or like a clear sentence. So I kind of let that out in my art, and it's just like an explosion of just like everything in my brain kind of. So I can show you one thing so you could like see. Have you looked at my art before this?
Yeah,
okay,
I was
cool.
gonna tell you which ones I like the most.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so, like, this one, like, this was, like, kind of my first, like, breakthrough of, like, oh, I can just make something that doesn't have to look like something.
Just like
and it
woodworking.
Woodworking, just expressionistic, like experimentation that's abstract. It doesn't have to look like a thing. I mean, it does look like a robot.
Which is kind of like a birdhouse or something.
I've gotten that a lot. Yes, it does look like a birdhouse. Yeah.
If you think of it,
it does.
As something that's not.
Yeah, for sure. I love hearing what other people think of like what it looks like. It definitely looks like a birdhouse or like a robot. I mean that like building blocks, but yeah, like I think that is true. Like I think my art represents me. Last year, or 2019, when it was my last semester of college before I dropped out, I was in I had like a studio space in school. Cause it was like some sort of class. It was called advanced painting, and if you got in, you would get like a studio space, which was really nice. And that was like my first time of feeling like not confined to like a class, because advanced painting kind of just let you do anything, because it was like 3 days a week, 6 hours long every 3 days, and you had a studio space, so you had this space to make as much art as you want and as much experimentations that you can produce. And so I like would bring like scraps from the wood shop and just like make like a bunch of things, and that was like a really cool place where I like fully kind of broke through of like, oh, I'm not just a portrait painter, like, you know, like I kind of shut off my brain when I was in the studio and kind of like just let all of my just like creative powers just go at it, and kind of like in a way I kind of like went outside of my body and just like let my like energies make shit.
Nice, that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, I wrote in my journal during that semester when I was taking advanced painting that my studio, like at the end I was like, because I had a lot of like realizations and kind of breakthroughs of like what I wanted to do, and like I wrote like that my studio space was like a secret garden. And I was thinking about that movie Secret Garden, and how it's like this garden that no one can find except me, and that like once I unlock the gate, it's just like I'm just growing flowers, which is me growing my art practice and the art that I'm making. So once I leave that I have to like, and I'm also kind of like a child, and like I could do anything and not really think about adult responsibilities. And then once I leave the studio, I'm back into the real world, literally, because my studio was in Chicago, like in the heart like of Chicago, like downtown. It was right next to the Bean, like right across from the Bean.
Oh wow.
So and the art museum, which was crazy. So going into like from the like loud city, people playing drums, honking, like just like stressful people walking on the street, like it was just very like real life. And then going up in the elevator and like into my studio space where there's like 5 foot tall like sculptures with like feet and legs and like saturated vibrant colors. It was just like, oh, this is like my like kind of like childlike safe haven kind of.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to care about like the responsibilities of the outside world.
Right.
So that's when I feel like at peace, when I'm like making things for me.
It's like your pillow fort.
Kind of, yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, that's a good way of pointing.
Anything can happen in here.
Oh man, I used to make forts. I used to fuck those things up. Like I used to go hard with forts. Like I would put like the TV in it and like lights. Or like a laptop. Like
yeah.
Okay, I say I used to, like with a laptop. Like that was me like 2 years ago. That was me when I was back home after school, because like I had to cut school because of the pandemic. Like I had to go home, so I just had a lot of time on my hands. The pandemic, however, I guess this also goes with the question. The pandemic was also kind of a breakthrough. I feel like a lot of people say this is like the pandemic is like when it like helped me like find my art, and like that's when I made a lot of music. Truthfully, like, yeah, like I have one of my best friends, her name is Lily, and she's in Ophelia, and she just wrote like a bunch of songs in the pandemic, and she's about to come out with an album. It's amazing. It's like, wow, like that, like being just confined to your room and like having these thoughts, like you can like let it out, because like what else are we gonna do? We're literally stuck inside.
Yeah, you have to become okay with yourself.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so during the pandemic I was in Chicago still, and I was in an apartment like by myself, and my roommates left. So yeah, I was kind of going mentally like just mentally I wasn't all the way there, because it was just really hard, because like it was crazy being in like the city. I was like not downtown, but it was crazy being in Chicago and having everything just like vacant, like still, and like no one outside. It was really weird, because that was like the beginning of lockdown and everyone was super scared.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I couldn't go out or like even go to school. So, and I didn't have any art supplies, so like I would order from Blick, which is the art supply store. But I was like kind of getting depressed, and I was like, I really have to like make art, because like that is the one thing that'll like distract me. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't like wait for my supplies to come in the mail. Like I really wanted to make something, just like get it out of the way. So I found like some like supplies in the corner of my room, in like the living room, like studio space area, and they were like scraps of canvas. And I was gonna use those scraps to like paint a portrait. So I sewed, like I hand stitched the canvas, but then I was also like, why do I have to paint a portrait? Like this already looks cool and abstract, like the stitching. What if I just like do something like abstract for once? Like I'm not like in school right now, I might as well like have fun. So actually I was in school, so, but it was like I had an excuse to like do more things myself, because we were in a pandemic. So I like did that and started doing abstract stuff, and yeah, then I like created this whole series called Healed Stitch, and it was based around like kind of like stitching up like the past, and some of it looked like skin, so it was like stitched up skin, so it's like a healed wound kind of, and you could like kind of interpret it however you want. That's kind of why I wanted to make it, is like everyone has their own stories of like a stitched up healed wounded past. So when you look at it, you could kind of interpret it however you want, and relate it to your own kind of story.
Cool.
Yeah. Then that kind of like went from stitched up like paintings to like stitched fiber pieces, and then that got me into like installation work, and then I got it really into just like working with photographers and like musicians and doing like installations for like photo shoots and music videos. And I'm about to do a music video with my boyfriend. His name is Sean Booz. Shout out Sean. I've been shouting out my friends, like, yes. And he's just recorded some music, and we're gonna do a music video on our like camcorders, and I got like so it's gonna kind of look old looking, and I did a bunch of like sculptures of like alienistic flowers, and it's just gonna look super cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, like installation with like music videos and photo shoots. But yeah, zoop.
Yeah, I like the installation you did with Briston and Future Cred.
Oh yeah. So the one with Briston also like I did with Christina Coleman, and she's a photographer here, and we did a book series called When I See You, because it was during the pandemic, and so it was like whenever we saw people, we would take photographs, and it was also like how we see those people when we take or how she sees those people, because she's the one taking photographs. And so I helped her out with that, and we customized each book like we made our books from scratch. I took old books, but I covered them with my paintings.
Wow.
So the books were like your own. When someone bought it, it was your own painting, and then when you open it, it was photographs from her. And I also helped her out with the installation. So yeah, it was a really cool book. I wish I brought it. I sometimes forget about it because it was like, it took like 6 months to make, and like it was like the very beginning of the pandemic, or not very beginning, but middle. Yeah. So yeah, and then that kind of led me to more opportunities for like installation work, and then I did like stuff for like Future Crib, which is super cool because I'm really grateful that I'm not like stuck to one specific kind of group of people. I want to branch out of like different music scenes and art scenes. So like I'll be like, I worked with Future Crib, and then I worked with this other photographer named Kurt. I actually don't know their last name. But their Instagram is Wavy Kurt.
Yeah, I know Kurt.
Yeah.
Right. No.
So good. Like, and just like, it's just led me to many opportunities just working with so many different kinds of people, or artists, I mean.
Awesome. Yeah, I had Noah on here.
Yeah, that's how I found your podcast, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think he posted it on his story. I was like, Noah, like he's doing a podcast. I should check this out.
Wow. Yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah. I didn't actually listen to that one, though. I listened to the other 3 ones, though.
No worries.
Yeah. I listened to it a little bit, but then I had to do something.
I understand. Cool. Yeah, I really liked the your like collage of textures.
Thanks.
When I look at it, I think it's like very ethereal, but also very regal.
Which ones are you talking about?
Like the...
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's like silver.
Oh, the one with Briston?
No, it's I'll show you.
I'm like...
I'll show you on your...
Oh, is it this one?
Yeah, those.
Okay.
Yeah, those.
Cool. Yeah. Those are really fun.
They come off as kind of like very regal, but also...
Interesting.
Like ethereal, because it's like...
How does it come off regal? Like, I want to know your opinion.
The colors remind me of like...
Yeah.
Fine jewelry, or like...
Yeah.
Fine, I don't know,
like a queen would wear it.
Yeah, a queen, like 1200s or like...
Love that.
1600s.
I love that my art is giving off queen energy.
Well, like...
Regal energy.
Just kind of like, that. Yeah, palatial palace.
Yes.
But also...
kind of tacky, though, too.
Not...
You could say it. It's kind of kitschy.
That's where the ethereal comes in, where it's also kind of spacey and kind of like weird texture.
Oh, yeah,
it would be weird to see it on like a wall. I mean, it'd be cool to see it on a wall in a house, but it would be a strange environment.
It's weird. I tried putting that piece up on my wall, and I was like, this just looks weird. But I think it looks weird because my decorations, like, half of it really isn't mine, the house that I'm living at right now. So I'm really, really pumped to move out with my friends, because we're about to decorate the shit out of that house, and it's gonna be so funky, and like also like plants it's gonna be beautiful.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna definitely put that piece up on my wall, and it's gonna actually fit.
Nice.
But I get what you're saying. Like it's really weird to like have something sticking out onto your wall looking like that. Like, it looks almost fake.
Yeah, it looks weird. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's
space fungi.
Ethereal fungi.
Yeah.
And then I love the, in your paintings or whatever, the Ronald McDonald. With the,
you went far.
It looks like George Washington is coming through. Like the eyes.
Hold up. What? Oh. I thought you were talking about a different Ronald McDonald painting. I've done like 2 Ronald McDonald paintings. You're talking about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite portraits.
That looks like George Washington's eyes.
It does.
Like, almost you can see the outline almost of his like
his wig. Yeah, you're right.
And I always, I just like really connect. I was like, wow, that's what I saw when I looked at it.
I guess it could be a take on like America is addicted to
exactly.
McDonald's, and McDonald's is taking over America.
Yeah, and it's just
and George Washington, greed, capitalism, I don't know, some shit like that. Honestly, I just painted it because it was like a homework assignment in my color theory class.
I just thought like it was just like.
Well, it's funny to paint something and not think about what it means until like the end. You can interpret it so many different ways. Right.
Well, I mean, even looking at it, I'm able to like it doesn't mean anything, but like I still saw.
But it also like has so many.
The George Washington. In there. Like I feel like I can look at it and it's like it's objectively you look at it and then there's the whole meaning.
Yeah, for sure. It's just weird. Like it's just a weird. I wish it was like gigantic.
Yeah, I like that one.
I named this one Fear and Loathing at the Drive-Thru because I don't know. I just thought it was cool. Like basically, I was taking a color theory class and my teacher, shout out Sam Jaffe, best teacher ever. She's like so funky. She's like so cool. You know what? I'm gonna show you her art real quick. She's one of the most amazing teachers I've ever had. Also, shout out Ann Harris. She's one of the most amazing portrait, like realistic painters I've ever had. Teachers I've ever had. This is Sam though. Ann Harris, she's like much older. She's like 60 years old. And then Sam, she's about like in her 30s. And they were my teachers at art school.
Wow.
This is Sam's work. So she taught me like, don't be afraid to experiment. And then, really cool. And then Ann Harris's stuff is more so like technical. So the two of them together, like one was very technical and one was very experimental, but they helped me like kind of figure out the in-betweens of those. But this is Ann Harris's paintings.
Wow.
Yeah, she went to Yale and she paints like super hyper realistic, but also abstracted.
That last
She's like, yeah, and we still talk like we'll like FaceTime each other, me, her, and I'll also FaceTime like Sam. She wants me to go back to school, and Sam's like, art school brainwashes you. It's kind of funny because Anne is like older and Sam is like younger, and they both teach in art school and they have totally different ideas about art school. But yeah,
Sam says don't go to art school.
She's like, don't even like, if you're doing your thing, like you should keep doing that and don't let anything get in the way. Like, right. So yeah, I totally forgot what I was talking about.
We were talking about the Ronald McDonald.
Oh yeah.
Also, your works on paper, the I don't know what you call it. It's the fifth one down, but it makes me think of like I get Major Francis Bacon, H.R. Giger.
I get that a lot. Which one? Is it the Robert Pattinson one? I thought his name was Robert Patterson until like I did that collage and looked up his name. And it's Pattinson, apparently. Pattinson.
This one.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
I get like H.R. Geiger, whatever. And then like Francis Bacon.
Interesting. That one was a show poster that I did for Dark Matter for my friend Blair. We collabed on that piece, actually. I wonder if it's still up there, but wow. Yeah, we she does like stop motion and like sculpture, like paper mache stuff and collage.
Her name's Blair.
Blair Trammell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's in Snooper and Matt Campbell and Connor and Happy.
Yeah.
Haugen. Connor, I don't know his last name to be honest, but yeah, they're all in Snooper together and we did this collage. So she collaged some like woman wrestlers, and then I did the other stuff and she collaged the font too.
But that wasn't there.
That wasn't there. Yeah. So we kind of collabed on that. That's another thing that I'm getting into is like show posters and stuff like that.
Sick. What's the most exotic show poster you've had to make?
Exotic show poster?
Or like what was the most fun?
Oh, fun. Okay.
Either.
I don't think I've done any crazy show posters. Or I don't know. I haven't done enough to like say that like I hope I could do like crazy ones. I don't know.
Do you have a favorite piece of art?
Favorite piece of art? I would have to, let me go look. I do have a favorite piece of art. It's actually hanging in my living room right now, and it's kind of like my piece where I, like, if I have a good outfit, like, I'll take pictures in front of it. It's like a good backdrop, kind of. But it's this piece right here. It's a stitched piece, and it looks like kaleidoscopes, and it's like rainbow.
That's stitched?
Yeah, and this is how big it is.
And it looks like colored pencil, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that. Like,
it does look kind of like...
It's like watered down oil paint.
It looks kind of like, yeah.
Or not watered down, but...
That mixed with, like, colored pencil.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I also like the Fear and Loathing at the Drive-Thru painting, too.
That one's really cool.
Yeah, that one, I was taking a color theory class, and we had, like, colors assigned to me, or to us, and so we had to make a Photoshop collage. So I made a Photoshop collage of Ronald McDonald, like, towering over this group of little children, like, looking up at him, and it was a really weird picture, and I, like, painted it with the colors that I was assigned on this little, like, wooden panel. And then once I went back to Tennessee, I, like, had this painting and I didn't like it, so I, like, painted a portrait over it just to, like, you know, sometimes I'll, like, paint from a mirror just to, like, build my, like, skill, and just, like, it's like practice. And I didn't really like the portrait, so I wiped the I let it dry, and I took an orbital sander and I sanded the whole painting, and so the portrait was oil paint and the Ronald McDonald painting was acrylic. So the Ronald McDonald painting was more durable, so it, like, kind of seeped through it. It was like a ghost painting, and I kept the eyes, so I sanded off the whole portrait, and I sanded, like, the wood, and it kind of made this grainy wood texture. And so all together, it was like a painting on top of a painting.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool. It's like a ghost.
That's how you made the Ronald McDonald one?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool. I wouldn't have thought to, like, sand down a painting.
Me neither, but I bought an orbital sander just to, like, have it for, like, woodworking stuff. And then I took it to a painting one day just to experiment with it. And I was like, dang, like, this could be a whole new, like, series of work.
I was about to say, yeah. It seems like a whole new technique.
Yeah, I do it sometimes. It's really fun.
Trimming it
But
down.
it only works sometimes. It doesn't work all the time.
Could, like, ruin it?
Not ruin it. Well, yeah, but it's also, like, sometimes it's, like, you have to, like, wait a long time and, like, build paintings on top of paintings. You can't do it so quickly.
I see.
Yeah, or it's just going to be boring.
Mm.
Yeah, to me it's going to be, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Could have stages, layers.
Yeah. I want, like, a full painting underneath another full painting. Wow. Not just, like, a little painting, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's cool. So what is your favorite medium? Do you have a favorite medium?
I really don't, just because I was saying, like, I just go back and forth. I mean, people, I think, know me as, like, a painter, but I'm kind of, like, steering away from that and incorporating painting into stuff, but I like every kind of me. I like collage. Right now, I'm really into drawing and, like, incorporating collage into drawing. But, yeah, I mean, painting will always have, like, it will always be, like, my core, but I don't think it's, like, my everything. I really like sculpture. Yeah. I just like all kinds of art.
Yeah.
When I was in school, I was, like, friends with, like, totally different artists than me. I was friends with, like, a group of, like, sound artists, like CGI artists. They were, like, kind of, like, shout out Groovy and Eli. His name is Groovy, but his real name was Rafa, but he went by Groovy. And he called himself, like, an alien and stuff like that. He was crazy. He was, like, 6 feet tall and, like, yeah. And he's a CGI artist and does, like, virtual realities. So you can wear, like, he'll make, like, a whole world and you'll have to put goggles on and, like, he'll literally like CGI animate his own world. It was so cool. And then Eli did the same thing. They like did like a full like on like CGI kind of like, not CGI, but like kind of like distorted visuals with like their like techno music. Yeah. So I was friends with those kind of people, and like performance artists and other painters. I was more so not really gravitated to be friends with the painters though, because it was just like they were kind of like, I felt like the painters at SAC were very much painters, and like that is what they do. I was just like not really like into that. I was wanting to do more than just painting.
Cross discipline.
Yeah, I wanted to cross discipline. So I wanted to meet sculptors and like sound artists and all that. So yeah.
You all rounded.
Yeah, I wanted to just like
embrace
kind
it.
of like know what those people do, what those people are interested in, and then kind of like see how we could both collaborate and incorporate our things that we like to do and know together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, the core class that I took in freshman year, like, I actually just texted my friend Eli, and we made the core class was the class where we had to learn everything, and we made a green screen, like, video in 2 hours, and I was fighting this kid named Don, and we were like, it was called Mortal Kombat, or it was Core Combat, but it was based off of Mortal Kombat. We had a whole green screen, and we, like, put our bodies into a video game. We, like, fought each other like Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
And we did the sound art for it, too, so I was like, like, I was, like, beating the person up, and then, like, Eli would go, boom, player one. And then we would have, like, the Wii at the beginning. It would be, like, do, 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 do. Someone would be, like, humming that. And then it'd be, like, do, do. Like, we would just make the sound effects with our, like anything that we had. Because we had, like, a microphone. So, yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of what I'm kind of talking about.
Now I want to make a soundtrack to a video game.
That'd be so cool.
Or noise track.
Yes. Whoa! That sounded just like a bird.
Yeah.
What kind of bird is that?
I don't know.
That was cool.
Just
Like a that's not a hawk, is it?
I don't know.
Like a
maybe an eagle.
Eagle. That's what it is. That'd be kind of cool if you did like a bunch of just like
Animal
sounds.
noise.
That'd be cool. Like it's like kind of like a.
Would be crazy. Like,
you know.
Here come the elephants.
It's like people do that as a job though. Like it's called poly or something. Not is it called poly?
I don't know.
Something. But they're like sound artists for like movies, and they'll take like lobsters and like clap their claws like, and they'll make it like that sound will be like someone like I don't even know like walking their footsteps walking actually like
wow.
with tap dance shoes. They'll get chains and like make like it's just cool. You have to look it up.
Make that industrial music.
I was actually thinking about it when I was listening to your other podcast. I was like, wow, like he should be like an ASMR person.
Why is that?
You just have a very calming voice.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was talking to my boyfriend about this yesterday. I was like, wow, like I feel like I'm gonna be very calm, but also I'm very when I talk. Like I just get excited, but you're very calm when you talk. Like you just have a calming voice. You should do ASMR for sure. Yeah.
Thank you. It's just me talking.
Yes. I love ASMR videos.
Well, I guess the podcast is kind of like that, except it's not always me talking.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to fall asleep to me talking. They might actually, because I'm going on and on. Not besides podcasts, you just like reading a bedtime story. Like you should get into that business because you have a very calm voice.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Here,
write that down. ASMR.
Narrating.
Yeah, you should really narrate a book. You'd be really good at it.
In the pasture, we have
Like a Renaissance medieval book.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
You should do this Leonardo da Vinci book actually in front of us.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite books by
Walter Isaacson.
That's what it is.
What is it about?
It's about Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, wow.
The whole book
I should probably read that.
It's amazing.
I say I should probably read something and then I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I envy people who can, like, read books, like, just...
Sit down.
Like that. Sit down and read a book.
Yeah. I mean, it's a skill in and of itself. Reading. Sitting,
yeah, it is.
Focusing.
For sure. I mean, you're not illiterate. You can literally read a book.
Yeah.
That and you can... I don't know.
It just opens up a whole new...
It really does.
You go to the gym in your mind, basically.
Basically, yeah. Now you know everything about Leonardo da Vinci. Or so you think.
According to the book.
Did he know him, like... Did he know him? I'm just kidding.
This isn't...
Hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, this isn't like that kind of biography.
I was kidding. I know.
But it could be. There are books.
Oh, wait, that is true. And then they remaster them.
Yeah, like if someone could have written them. There was many biographies on people written.
I don't want to look at it right now because I don't want to mess it up with.
There's a lot of great stuff in there.
Interesting.
He was super jacked. Did you know that?
Leonardo da Vinci?
He was like ripped. He was like an athlete.
An athlete?
An athlete.
Oh.
You just gotta read.
I thought he was like old.
He was young
a jacked old. Oh.
You're not always old.
Yeah, when I think of Leonardo da Vinci, though, I just think like
when he was in his older time.
Yeah, like how he looks on this book, like white beard.
He was even very strong in his older years.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was very smart.
He wore elaborate outfits too. He would wear like.
Really?
Yeah, he was gay. I mean, he wore.
Was he gay?
Yeah, he was gay.
I didn't know that.
He got charged with sodomy.
What?
And all stuff. I mean.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. He was like.
It wasn't like kind of legal to be gay.
He's technically a bastard son.
Was it? It wasn't like legal to be, or was it? Was it like not like?
It was. I think it was frowned upon.
Frowned upon.
But,
I mean,
but maybe not in in Florence. It wasn't really.
Interesting.
That's Florence. Why, like back in the day, they used to equate Florence and like Florinian whatever Italians as gay Italians. Or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like very open there. I think.
Wow.
I mean, if you're reading it.
I kind of want to read it now.
You should, or I don't want to say you should. It's really good.
Yeah.
So where do you find inspiration?
I find inspiration basically just kind of like what I said, like with just finding things and being like, I can somehow make something out of this. If I think something looks cool, I'll use it. So if I'm doing collage and I think it's like a kind of a unique, interesting picture, I'll cut it out. But like, I was listening to this podcast the other day, and it was Philosophy This.
Oh, I've listened.
Yeah, and it was like a love podcast. It was about loving people, and they were basically saying they were relating seeing the world in a way of loving yourself and others is kind of the way that artists see the world, and it's how they see everything in a different perspective, and in like kind of like doesn't necessarily like beautiful in like the context of what beautiful always means, but like artists will look at kind of anything and see how it's designed, or like how it's formed, and how like see it in different ways, you know. So I'm super inspired by music too lately. I just being like friends with a lot of musicians. I really do hope I could become friends with more artists. I haven't been in Nashville long enough, but right now I'm friends with like a bunch of musicians, and they'll like send me their music, or they'll release their music, and I just really love it, and I'll like just listen to their whole albums and like draw to it, and like kind of what I was saying about experimentation and letting like things just like do its own without me overthinking it is like when I'm listening to their music, I kind of will draw to it, and I'll draw how I feel while listening to that music. So I'll let the pen kind of dance in a way. That's what my dad taught me, is to let the pen dance and not let my mind think of, I'm going to draw this next. Just kind of let my hand lead the way, or let my pen lead the way. So I feel inspired by things that make me feel things. Like, I'm an emotional person. What can I say? I'm an artist, so I'm inspired by like how I see things in ways that make me feel differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. Cheers.
That's a what?
I said that's a great way to put it.
Oh, thank you.
Inspired by the
Sounds like we're like taking shots.
Yeah.
We're drinking water.
All right, cool. What is your favorite time of day to create?
That's an interesting question. That's a good question, actually.
Or I should say, when is your favorite?
That's a really good question, because I have had this thought before. Like, yeah, so I was thinking about, like, this is a good question. I think my favorite time to create is at night. Because if I create during the day, I'm like, I don't know. It's just like, if it's nice out though, like, okay, if I'm painting, I like to do it during the day, because there's natural lighting and all that stuff, and I also need like ventilate, like circulating air. So favorite time to paint is during the day. Favorite time to do kind of like anything else is during the night, because let's be real, during the night I unwind, I smoke a little weed. Like, you know, I watch my YouTube videos of like, you know what YouTube videos I love to watch?
Yeah, what?
First of all, I love ASMR videos. Don't even get me started. I love mukbang ASMR videos. Do you know what that is? Just people eating food.
Oh, dude.
Into a microphone.
I learned about that on Intro's podcast.
Really?
He told me about that.
What did he say? I have to listen to his.
I watched it. I was like, this is like...
He watches us?
I don't know. He was showing me him. I don't know if he watches them, but he showed me one.
Probably does.
And I was like, this is like violent.
It's amazing.
I'm like, this woman was eating this huge crustacean. And
yeah.
It was like,
did he show... I'm dead. Did he show you the seafood one?
And see, I'm a person that hates
the
sound of smacking, so I'm like...
I don't even care about that. It's more so of like, how big of a bite can this woman or man, or like this like guy named Zach Cho, he has like 4 Big Macs, and he's like famous too, like Benny Blanco, who's like a music producer. He's a pop music producer, and he's friends with also like Maddie Madison, who is like a cook, a Canadian chef, but he's kind of like a skater boy, like pothead, like chef. I don't even know. Like he's like a very big guy, and he's just like has like tattoos, and he curses, but he makes like really, really like extravagant meals sometimes. Not saying that people with tattoos and blah blah like can't make extravagant meals, but he's like kind of like edgy. Yeah. But then he makes like these like cool meals. He has like a show about it. But him and Benny Blanco, who's like a pop artist, record label guy or whatever, they had like a show together, I think, or like a YouTube series, and they did a video with Zach Cho, and Zach Cho is like this mukbang, like, I think I'm saying it wrong, mukbang, I don't know, mukbang ASMR person, and he has like 40 chicken nuggets, a bowl of cheese, 5 Big Macs, and like hash browns, and he eats it all. And he'll eat this like big bites sometimes, or he'll stack the hash browns and he'll eat it all in one. I'm like, damn, that's a good way of eating hash browns. If you want to just get it all in one bite. Yeah, just stack all 3 hash browns and just eat it like a sandwich. It's craziness.
Wow.
Yeah, that I like. My main thing that I really like, I fall asleep to, like, it's fucked up. Like, it's not fucked up. It's just like, it's like when Sean will like come over, like he likes to go to sleep early, so like because he works a job, so like I'm just like in bed like just watching these like cake making videos. It's like mass produced cake making videos.
Wow.
Yeah, it's for like sometimes they're like for like to ship out the cakes, or sometimes they're like little cafe like cake bakeries. And it's just ASMR, but it's not ASMR. It's just like this chef, this baker, and like they're making a cake from scratch. Or they'll make like 20 of the same cakes. So they'll put like 30 eggs in, or however many eggs. Like they'll put like 70 eggs, and then they'll do like it's just crazy.
And you're like, wow, bake that cake.
Oh my god. One time I also watched like a full on, like this was ASMR. That wasn't ASMR, it was just showing you like just quietness of someone like baking cake. This was full on like ASMR in like cut like in a nicely lit home kitchen. And this woman is just like, it's just so peaceful, and like she'll like literally just like stir the pot and like gently like I kid you not, the other night it was like a cake, it was like a tart video. This woman was cutting jello that she made from scratch into like minced jello, like cubed small tiny jellos. The way that she slices jello with the sharpest knife in the world was the best thing ever. I also watched write that down, because I know damn well you're going to watch that video later.
Slicing jello.
It was craziness. I was just like, wow. I've never seen someone slice jello. Like,
I always, use
it's
it
just
with a
jello.
fork. Yeah, but like,
no, this woman cut it into cubes. Like tiny cubes. It's crazy. Another one that I'm into is, I know this has nothing to do with really the question, but whatever. Another one that I'm really into is like this guy who's in the wilderness, and he'll make like his own like stove basically with like a skillet that he has. So he'll make it from like tree branches, and he'll put like a tree branch in, and then he'll create like a stick that goes into the tree branch, and then it like dangles stuff, and it's like a filter. Like he makes his own kitchen out of like wood.
Wow.
Like bamboo and
I'll have to check. That is so awesome.
And then he makes the food. He's so like slick with it too.
What is that one called?
I don't know. It's just like guy in the wilderness makes food, or in the forest or something. Yeah, but he's so like extra with it too. He has his own knife, and it's like a really sharp knife. And it's kind of like product placement, this knife. And basically like this guy is so extra with it. He'll throw a potato up in there and he'll slice the potato with the knife.
Sick.
Yeah. And then there's like potatoes like just flying all over the place. I'm like, damn, like you gonna pick that up and like make the food with it? Like, come on, keep your space clean. But he's like extra with like the production of it. I'm like, damn, like it's so cool. And he like probably makes money off of like just making like stuff in the woods. It's crazy. Honestly, if you just look up guy in the wilderness makes like a fried catfish, or like a T-bone steak, or he'll make like spaghetti and meatballs. That one was a really cool one. That one he made like the pasta from scratch, and then he made a stick. That's what I'm talking about, the stick and then the stick. And he would hang the pasta to dry, and then the wind from the nature would like make it dry. It was crazy.
And then that was made with love.
Yeah, and I watch all of these sometimes when I'm like also just drawing.
Drawing,
like making art.
Nice.
It's so fun. For a second,
I love YouTube. That's like one of the greatest technologies that were
ever made.
Ever. I live on YouTube.
Me too. Because I used to have a TikTok, and then I deleted that.
Yeah.
It was really bad for my brain. Like, I was on it for hours, and it just, like, every time I was on it, I just, like, felt bad about myself, and, like, I hated making art, so I had to, like, delete it. YouTube is where it's at. Cause,
I love YouTube.
Yeah. For a second,
I like long form content. So.
Well, you know what I've been into
lately?
It has
short form content too.
What do you watch?
I like to watch a lot of interviews and then show concerts.
Yeah.
Interviews with my favorite artists.
Yeah.
Psychology
like
stuff.
Who?
Like I've been really into ministry right now, so I've been studying
Who?
Ministry.
Oh, so what's that? Like
it's an industrial. Religion? It's an industrial metal band.
Okay, I was gonna say, is this like a band? Because it doesn't even sound.
Yeah, it's a band. Ministry. It's an industrial metal band. It's
Whoa!
Fucking kick ass. And I saw them at the Ryman 2
last
weeks
night.
Ago.
You went to something. I thought it was that.
That was that from 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
But I've been studying him from like the 90s and 80s when like he changed sounds.
To what?
He started off as a synth pop outfit.
Whoa.
And then by 1988 or 87, he created this album called Twitch, which was like starting to get into industrial.
Twitch.
And then
sounds like electronic kind of.
By 1988, there was this album called The Land of Rape and Honey.
Ooh.
And that was like starting to go into more industrial. And then by 1989, it was like full on.
What is industrial? Like, how does that even sound?
9 Inch Nails.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Maybe Rammstein, Tool, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I could definitely see how that sounds.
Yeah,
now.
Industrial,
kind of like grimy.
Marilyn Manson, maybe a little
bit,
but not Marilyn Manson's not really. But
greasy, kind of grimy, like grimy rock.
I gotta. We'll listen to a song.
Okay, cool.
I'll put it on the big speakers.
Cool. I'm excited.
And I'll show you what I mean.
Like that.
Kind of. It's like it's very tribal. It's very overwhelming, and it's very driving.
It kind of sounds like a revved engine, kind of.
There's a lot going on.
That's just like how
there's samples going on. Like
that's how I'm like visualizing
okay.
it. Like kind of.
I can't wait to show you that.
Yes, I'm pumped.
And then
it's kind of funny. Like at 5 Points Pizza where I work, basically like all the guys in the back are like. They kind of look like you with like the long hair and like the beard. Like they are into metal music.
Oh really?
It's so funny. And like my coworker Kyle, like early in the morning, he's just getting ready. He's like headbanging, like loud music, and I'm like, wow, it's funny because it's like so early. And we're just like getting ready, and he's like in his element. Yeah. Shout out Kyle.
Yeah, what's crazy is I discovered this band like 2 months ago. I mean, I'd heard of them maybe, but I never listened to music. But then I like randomly came across like an interview with Al Jorgensen, the lead singer, and he's very charismatic.
Interesting.
I'll show you an interview after this too with him. After you watch this, anyways, you'll know where Johnny Depp got Captain Jack Sparrow inspiration
really?
from.
God, I love Johnny Depp.
So you'll know where that inspiration came from.
Okay, yeah.
That's all.
That's an interesting vibe right there.
Exactly.
That's a pirate. That's a literal pirate.
Exactly. Let's just say I've watched all these interviews.
He's like kind of too. Like he's kind of like a scummy
weird mannerisms.
Yeah, he's not scummy. He's like scummy, but also like goofy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So picture that.
Okay.
And then
cool.
We'll.
You know what else I've been into are like video essays.
Video essays.
Well, my boyfriend Sean is really into that shit, and sometimes
what's a video essay?
Sometimes when he comes over, we'll like watch video essays. We'll watch like video essays on just random shit. Like one time we watched a video essay on Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Sometimes we'll do video like on the way home, like from Chicago. We went on a road trip recently. We would listen to film video essays of like just like random movies. One time we watched Shrek, and it was crazy. Like that movie, first of all, is the best movie I've ever seen. hands down, Shrek is a cinematic masterpiece.
I love Shrek.
It's a cinematic masterpiece. Hands down, 100%. The animation is
awesome.
Beyond its time. The soundtrack is amazing.
Right.
The story is amazing.
Donkey.
It's about him finding his identity.
Yeah.
It's like, a child can relate to that movie, and a parent can relate, or an older person can relate to that movie. And the jokes are also, like, for children and adults.
It's a perfect blend.
It's like Toy Story 2 was like that. It wasn't, like, kind of raunchy like Shrek is. Shrek is, like, kind of raunchy. They said ass in Shrek. Because he was like, you little ass. He was talking to his donkey.
Yeah.
Something like that. But Toy Story was like that, but, like, it had, like, also...
There are less adults, really.
It had a symbolic meaning to it. It had, like, a good, like...
Heartfelt
message that adults can relate to. Growing up. And growing out of, your toys, basically. So...
Toy Story? Yeah,
that's one of my favorite movies. The meanings of these, like, Pixar movies.
Yeah. I might have asked you this earlier, but I'll ask it again. What motivates you to create?
You have asked me this.
Did I ask you that?
Yeah, you said, what inspires my art?
But motivation's different than
You're creation. Right.
Or inspiration. Inspiration is like you see something. Motivation is like, how do I get it within inside me?
How do I produce it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What Oh, you're so right. What gets me
like rituals
to actually do it?
Yeah.
Rituals, yeah. What gets me to do it? Well, having like a clean space is like really important for me because I'm a messy artist. Like I will make a mess when I make art, but I also get overwhelmed when I make a mess, so I have to like clean it up. So like having a clean space is really important, especially if I'm like collaging, because that's like a lot of scraps and stuff like that. So like having a clean space kind of cleans my mind and clears my headspace. So that's another thing is like it doesn't matter headspace though, like emotionally making art. Honestly, when I'm angry or sad, I like making art. And when I'm really like content, I like making art. And when I'm like stressed out, I like making art. But not all the time. When I'm stressed out, I don't really like making art. Maybe sometimes I just like to lay down and watch YouTube videos. But honestly, any kind of like any way I'm feeling, it motivates me because I'm like, how can I let this emotion inspire this art? You know what I mean? If I'm making like abstract art, if I'm making like a portrait that looks like someone, what motivates me is like a nice warm day, because it's not really something that I like love to do, but I'm relatively good at painting portraits. So I think what motivates me is wanting to do abstract art, like, because it kind of gets these emotions out of me. Whereas when I'm painting like more representational, I feel very like confined to those emotions. And that's like a thing with me, is that I feel like that's also a part of my personality, is because I am a very emotional person, but sometimes I confine them. Oh my god, my voice cracked and it sounded like I was like starting to cry, but I really wasn't. It was just because I had something in my throat. No, I'm not emotional about this. I'm not that emotional. But like sometimes I can't express those emotions with expressing in the way of like talking about them. So, but I'm also good at talking about my emotions. It's just like a kind of a fight sometimes. So that's why making art is really cool, because I could take both of those things. I could just take all of the ways I'm feeling and putting it into my art. That's why I'm really into like collaging and drawing right now, because it's just it depends on how it's gonna look on the way I like feel that day.
Cool. How do you want to be remembered by your art?
Whoa, that's a big question. I want to be remembered by the person that I am. I want to be remembered as an artist that was always authentically themselves of being an artist. I want to be remembered by the way that I treated other people and the way that I also I do kind of pick and choose of the people that I want to be around who are other artists, because I want to be remembered by the way that they inspired me and that I inspired them. And then also just like, I want to be remembered as someone who is a part of a community, and that's kind of the biggest one, is a part of a community and being able to share my art with others and have them share their art with me, and not let it be a competition or like who's better than the other, but just coming together and creating something bigger.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I started going to shows like at the end of high school in Nashville.
So you could say you've been here even though you went to college for 3 years.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of my friends were in Nashville.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like a lot of them were. Like I started just becoming more like friends with people in Nashville instead of Hendersonville.
You just decided to stay here.
Yeah, I just felt like, first of all, Nashville was where I was like supposed to live, because I didn't live in Nashville when I was young. So it's like also like it's kind of weird for me, because it's like I've seen how Nashville used to look, because I moved here like in first grade, but it was also kind of developing to other ways of looking too. So, and now it's just like totally changed in a way. And so it's like I moved to Chicago thinking, oh, like this is like a big city, and like I thought it was really cool, but like I just like being in Nashville because, like, well, first of all, I moved in the pandemic in 2020, so I don't know how many years that is now. Like it feels like forever now.
2 years ago.
Yeah, so I moved to Hendersonville, and then I moved like back to Hendersonville to stay with my family, saved a bunch of money, and then moved to Nashville in May. But I really like Nashville because it's just like, it's so like peaceful. Like everyone's so nice here. It's nice just here. Like serotonin. Sometimes it really is like kind of not the best though, especially being in a service industry job. Sometimes it's like people that are like from like California and like, but they're not actually from California, and they're like moved from Ohio to California to like make it big. Cause like, that's the thing. People give Californians a bad rep, but none of those people that they're giving a bad rep to are actual like Californians. Cause I have family from California, and they're like hippy dippy. They're like weird. They're like artists. So like, but they also got their shit together, and they're from California. And then I have like friends who like went to high school in like Los Angeles and stuff like that. And like, people give people bad rep from California, but like half of those people that they're like, oh, the Californians are like, the last people from Los Angeles are moving to Nashville. Half of those people aren't even from Los Angeles. They're like from like Ohio or some shit.
Ohio. Midwest.
Yeah. I had to get out of the Midwest. I mean, I was in the city, but it was so cold.
Yeah.
It felt like icicle pellets, because it was so windy. Chicago is freezing.
Sharp air.
But there's people who love it.
Yeah. I don't know if I could deal. I love the cold.
No.
But I couldn't deal with that, I don't think.
I cannot with the cold. I literally,
I'm like built for the cold.
You're like a Viking.
Yeah, my Nordic nature or whatever.
Yeah. I love the sun.
Yeah.
I just thrive in the sun. Like, that's when I'm like making my best art too. Is just in the sun.
Fall and spring are probably my favorite.
Yeah.
In
spring.
Tennessee, here.
There were bumblebees flying around me. It was like kind of amazing.
Bumblebees.
Right? Like, I get scared because I'm like, ooh. But it's like, wow, the flowers are blossoming.
Cool.
I'm so excited.
So I'd say we've covered why you've wanted to stay here. Now,
the community, yeah.
What is something you've learned living here?
What I've learned living here is that I didn't feel like I guess I could just keep going back to the same answer, but it's like really prevalent. Like it's really like if you move here and you're an artist, like yeah, you'll run into some people that like might not want to like work with you, and like that's okay. But you will meet some good ass people here, especially the people that are like from here. Like I've just like become friends with a lot of like people that like went to high school here too recently, like my future roommates. Shout out Cara, Happy, and Lily. They're all in Ophelia, by the way. Check it out. OHPHELIA. It's kind of crazy, like learning. Everyone is like some sort of kind of artist here. It's fucking insane. It's cool. Like my friends and my boyfriend Sean are in like a screamo band. What? The screamo band. And then my friends Lily are in like a really cool, just like, I don't even know, like they're just fucking amazing band. But then you have like people over here who are like rappers and like in a whole collective. And like I painted this one guy named Fred. Shout out Fred. His Instagram is Buckle Up Baby. And like I don't even know this guy, but I reached out to him because I thought he would be cool to paint. And like never met him, but he's like in kind of like the scene where like he's friends with like these like this guy named like Savvy, and they're like rappers and stuff like that. And I reached out to him, I painted him, and then he came to my art show and we met. And it was just like a really cool way of like how there's like such a good community, like people will support each other here. Not everyone, however, there are a lot of people that support each other and that are doing their thing. Like they are literal, it's just like everyone's trying to like make it happen, but not in a way that it's like trying to sell out, you know? Mm-hmm. Not sell out, like it's okay to like, obviously to make money from your art, but I'm saying like in a way that's like fake or phony. There are a few, but like I have met some like amazing artists. And going back to like the old questions of like or old answers, is just like they're artists that I don't do that art. And honestly, it's the stuff that I cannot do. Like I don't play music or I can't sing, but these people are fucking amazing at it, and they can songwrite. Holy shit, like that's hard to me. I could songwrite drawing a picture, but I can't songwrite writing lyrics. We were looking at lyrics yesterday, me and Sean, and he was showing me lyrics that his roommate made for his band. I mean, it was shout out Robbie Love. That's his real name too. And he's in a band. They're in a band called Linwood, and it's like a 90s post-hardcore screamo band. And it's really cool because I never really like went to these shows. But going back to the answer or statement, it was very poetic and it was beautiful. These song lyrics, I was like, how the fuck does someone do this? Yeah, and another thing I learned from Nashville is that there's so many different kinds of genres of music. Like I have been to like weird shows. I went to like this one show in Murfreesboro, which this isn't Nashville, but it was called Crossroads, and you might be into this, but it was like a kind of like a punk house, and they just like had like, it was just crazy, like punk music and like screamo music and like metal music. It was crazy.
Wow.
My friend Jade, she used to be my coworker. She went to one, and she's a crazy bitch. She's into that music too. She like ran through a glass door and got like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, not fully, but she got knocked into the door or something, and some of the glass like got into her skin. And she was like, yeah, hell yeah. Like I'm like, damn, like But I get it.
Shards of glass.
But I get it that these people are so like...
It's like the wrestling.
They get into it. Like, it's like they're lashing out their like anger and frustrations.
Right.
And it's cool. And it's like,
a cathartic thing.
It's cathartic. And it's like, I don't listen to that music, truthfully. However, meeting these people, I have started to like understand it.
Right. You understand them better.
I understand them better, and I understand their music taste. And I'm like, I don't necessarily have to listen to it, or enjoy it, but I also do at the same time. I enjoy it because I like the meaning behind it.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's also like DJs here, and I've noticed a lot popping up because I've gone out more, which is cool. Like, if I never went out or like went to one, I would have never found all these other DJs. And then there's a lot of people also I've noticed that are just popping off. And it's just crazy to me. It's like, it's really cool to see. Like, it's just like each month I see like a new musician in Nashville just like popping off. It's crazy.
It's very inspiring.
Yeah, it's crazy like seeing like Briston kind of becoming like well known, and like seeing like even Future Crib getting like kind of like recognition, and then like my friend Carmen Canedo, I feel like I'm saying her last name wrong. Canedo, I don't know, but she's kind of doing like really well for herself, and she's in DC, but she's just like an amazing songwriter. And my friend Jess, she's in Bats.
Oh, yeah.
It's like maybe even if they're not like famous, they're just like popping off like talent wise.
I saw Bats at Dark Matter.
You went to the show? I went to the show.
That was
She
great.
had me sell art at that show.
Really?
Yeah, and I did the stage design for it too. I did like flowers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love the flowers.
She had me sell art at her show. I was like, this is like an amazing idea, having an artist just sell their prints. Well, she is amazing. Like I drew to her.
I saw that painting of her. You did of Jess.
Oh yeah, I did it. Yeah, and that's cool too, because like I like to like see these people's music, and then they'll come to like my art shows and stuff like that too, or like they'll have me like paint for them. It's actually funny. Like that's how I met Jacob Cornfloss. That's not how I met him. I met him just like hanging out with him one day. But one day I was like, hey, I would really love to paint you because I need like more sitters. And that was like the time where I was like starting to like really become friends with like a lot of people like who are from Nashville. And like I like painted like Morgan and McKenna Connors, who are twins, and I painted him. And it's like a huge painting of him just like in like an outfit. Like he looks like a corn man. Like he's wearing a corn pin. And I painted this huge like yellow hat that he was wearing. He looked so regal and like majestically like corn king. Yeah, it was crazy. But that was like kind of bad, that painting, now that I look at it like nowadays, because it's just my skills have developed. And like, yeah, I painted him and Jess, and they came to my art show, and I go to their shows, so it's just like it's very supportive. I really like that too. But yeah, it's cool just seeing all these people popping off. Like, who else? Like, this artist, their name is Allie, and they're fucking amazing. And they're touring with Katie Kirby right now. And like, just people I don't even know or I'm friends with. Like, I'm not really friends with Allie. I'm not friends with this girl named Catlin, but like, they're doing well for themselves. And I'm admiring them from afar. I don't even know these people.
That's great. Yeah, they're all community members.
Yeah, because I've maybe talked to them once too, but never again. But I'm like, wow, like that's really cool that you're doing what you love and you're popping off with it. I don't know a different word for like doing well, I guess. Not doing well, because I feel like I'm doing well, and like people who aren't really like famous can still do well.
Yeah. It's
just about the way that you show yourself, and your art is like, it shows through. The one thing that I'm like very like, that's like, wow, like about Nashville is like how just like many different things there, like artists their art. Yeah, it's weird.
Diversity.
Yeah, like with like mediums, it's just genres of art, because it's like people are willing to do that.
Medias.
My friend Lily, who's in Ophelia, it's kind of weird. It's like I feel like I'm like her like traveling artist right now.
Really?
I don't travel with her, but like if they need like a poster, sometimes they'll hit me up. Not all the time, but like, or like we're about to do a music video, like I'm gonna follow them around with a camcorder, and like it's gonna be a vlog, but their song's gonna be over it. I'm gonna do like installations for them. I have an installation that I have to do for them in like 2 days. She told me about it today, but she's paying me, so like I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't even care if I get paid. I'm just like, oh, obviously, if anyone's listening to this, commission me. However,
yeah, disclaimer.
But like, I'm also like, that's so fun. Like, I get excited when it's like a commission installation piece, and they let me do whatever the fuck I want, and they don't give me an idea, or they don't give me a specific thing. Because I don't like that. I like to just do whatever I want and somehow lead it to how it relates to that song.
Using your inner tools.
My energies.
Your energies.
I just did a music video for Jenny Shapir, and her song was called Loose Ends, and she sent me a whole Pinterest board, she told me to make a whole Pinterest board, and so I love Pinterest boards because it like inspires me, and I like to make like mood boards before I like do something, if it's like an installation, like commission thing. So it was called Loose Ends, and it's like her being like tied together. So I did that like forest fabric piece, like, and I stuck up, it was like crazy. It was like, yeah. And it's like on a canvas. And then I tied rope like to that canvas, and I stretched it onto like C clamps or whatever. And then I had all the rest of the ropes like dangling down, and those ropes I attached to her, and she was in front of the installation. So she was one with the installation. She was growing. Like those hanging ropes were attached to like her wrists.
Wow.
So she was like, I have a video of it actually.
Here, yeah, show it.
Let me just go to the top because it's right here. So this is her. And like I made like a ripped like kind of like fairy like outfit for her.
Wow.
But those hanging ropes were like dangled, and so I attached them to like the back of her and her wrists. Actually, I don't think I did the wrist because it was attached to her. It was like hanging on her body. It was like roped around her body. So that installation behind her was like she was pulling it kind of.
Wow.
So the ropes are like on her. But yeah.
It's awesome.
Thanks.
All right, cool. So what is some advice you'd give to someone who's going to move here and do art?
Yeah, that's like a hard one because I feel like if you want to come here, I don't know. See, the thing is that I find myself struggling to find like a group of people who do visual art, primarily just like painting or like installation stuff. Like stuff that like I like to do. So, but there is like an art gallery scene. I just don't know for sure if it's like kind of my, I hate using this word, but I also love it. I don't know if it's my vibe, but I don't know, because like I'm just not really into like making paintings to like sell in galleries, but I'm also like, I would like to, and I will be doing one soon. But I feel like for me, I like it here, and I would like to stay here because I like to work as like an artist that works with like bands, you know, like being the band's artist, like making music videos for them and installations, and like it's kind of like a manager or like a touring photographer.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, I want to do that for a living. It's fun. And, like, I'm not really into the galleries, like or doing gallery stuff. But there is a gallery scene, so if you want to do that, you could come here. But I feel like there's a pretty big gallery scene here, and it's popping off. So it's like, whatever. If you want to move here, you could do that. But I feel like mostly if you want to move here, like, and do something more than that, this is a great place for it. Because, like, there's so many photographers here. Like, it's like a crazy amount of photographers because they're all taking photographs of these bands.
Right.
They need cool
subjects.
They need cool props and like things to like pose with, and like installations and backdrops too. So who do they call? An artist. It is cool though. Like, I met like some cool artists here. Like, I'm like, Blair is one of them. I'm just like bringing her up a lot because she's kind of like the one artist that I've like visual artist that I met who's also like kind of humble. Like, she's very like, I don't know. She does she just makes art on a whim, and it's like kind of like very DIY, and I love that kind of art. It's like paper mache, like arcade games.
Sick.
Yeah. I'm trying to like shout out all my friends too, because like I want people to know about them. Like, you know, like, you know.
Maybe I'll be able to have them on here.
That's what I'm saying, like that too. So yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else you'd like to add that I might not have asked about you? Things you would want people to know about you.
Yeah. Things I want people to know about me. I'm a Taurus. Shout out Taurus. Yes.
Well, like, do you feel like if someone listened to this, they would be able to get a sense of who you are?
I think so. Like, people tell me that I'm like a dry texter sometimes, or I'm like very blunt. So I've been trying really hard to be like more like, you know, with my texting, because I'm not like that in real life. I'm not dry well, I am kind of blunt. Actually, that's very true. But I'm like I'm not like I'm very exaggerated a little bit.
Yeah.
So like, yes, I think people can see, I feel like people can grasp. I think I said everything pretty much to like my heart in this.
Okay. Awesome.
I think that's it.
Okay, cool. I have one more question.
Yes. This is really fun.
What is something absurd you love or do?
Oh yeah, you asked these questions. Did you ask this in Sarah's podcast?
Yeah.
Did you ask Cornfloss this? Do you ask everyone this? Yeah, this is like your go-to question. Because I couldn't finish Cornflosses because I was like almost finished with this podcast and then I had to go into work. What is the question again? Wait.
What is something absurd you love or do?
What is something absurd I love to do? I literally told you, first of all, that I like to watch those like videos of people eating food into a microphone, a large amount of food into a microphone. What's another absurd thing? I could probably think of some stuff.
Like weird little rituals or anything?
Like rituals?
Like...
Yeah, actually, I can maybe think of one. Oh, you know what's like an absurd one? Whenever I like do like a microwave, like put something in the microwave, I'm like, if I don't open, it's fucked up. It's like kind of intrusive thoughts, but I'm like, if I don't open the microwave at this specific number, like, I'm gonna like die soon, or like my mother's back is gonna crack or something like that. It's like a superstition thing. I believe in superstitions. I believe in ghosts. You know what's something absurd? Holy shit, I have like every absurd thing is coming to my mind now. An absurd thing that actually happened was that I was haunted in my old apartment and my old dorm. My dorm, basically a lanyard got pulled off of the desk into a box in front of my eyes onto the floor. The lights would turn off in the bathroom. And then in the apartment, I got scratched. And damn. Yeah, I don't have a bad vibe. I hope not. Maybe I'm just, there's a demon. I don't know. And I got scratched, and then I also took a video. And in the video, I heard, did you hear that? I felt it. And it was like a little girl like whispering. I heard it in the video, and I sent it to people, and they said they heard it too. So I'm not crazy.
Wow.
Another absurd thing is that I really enjoy like kind of like videos that are like about absurd things. So for a second I was watching like, I watched this video about this guy who's like a cannibal. One time I watched this one video, I don't know if I can say this on the podcast. One time I watched it was like, okay, but it was one of those like Vice videos, and it was like a video of like people having sex with deers.
Wow, bestiality.
Yeah, but it was like a documentary. I'm really into like absurd documentaries, like
having sex with deers.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't put that in the podcast. I watched like a little bit of Jesus Camp, and I was like stunned. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Yeah, you gotta just watch it. It's fucked up. The only thing is that people are very like mean to like Christianity. It's like I'm not a Christian. I'm Jewish and Italian, so I was never really raised religious. But a lot of people are very like fuck God. I'm like, I don't know if it's God, but I feel like there are like certain like spirits around us. Another absurd thing that can relate to that is that I went to meet my family for the first time, who lives in California, and they had a family reunion, and my family friend Marianne, who I've never met, she's like basically family though. She was married into it, but then she got divorced. She's a holistic practitioner, and she reads people's energies, and she read my energy at the family reunion. And I kid you not, I was like, I needed this because the cat, I told her about this, the cat who was staying at my family's house was in love with me. I tell everyone these like 3 stories that I just told. This cat was like by my side at all times, and I thought it was my grandmother. I think it was though, because I had a family reunion, and then she was reading my energy and stuff. So yeah, I'm into that stuff. I'm like, yeah, people might think it's absurd, but I think it's actually true, because I've told people the story and they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm not, because then it relates to a realistic practitioner, Marianne. She read my energy. I had a meeting with her once. She gave me a free meeting. She'll always give me free meetings because she like loves me like a daughter. I should probably call her too, but yeah, she like read my energy, and she told me like basically all of my energies and stuff like that. Everything like in my life, like she was telling me like my grandma was looking over me.
Was what?
Looking over me. I kid you not, she was in that cat. So people think that's absurd.
Is the cat still alive?
Yes, this is the cat that was at my family reunion. Yeah, she's totally alive. I saw her last summer. Her name's Pokey. Oh no, it's a guy actually. Pokey, like Pokeball.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're like they like surf and stuff like that.
Well, thanks for
I could literally talk to a wall.
I could too. I could stare at a wall and be entertained.
I don't know about that. I would probably not be entertained if I stared at a wall.
I can just like zone out and go into my head. And then
God, I admire that.
Extremely vivid dreams.
What are they like?
They vary, but...
Do you take psychedelics?
I have.
Interesting.
But not daily.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
But I mean, I dream hard like every night on this.
What do you dream?
Well, I have... It's crazy. Since I've been wearing this watch for the past couple of years now, it now...
Apple Watch?
Yeah, it now appears in my dream. And whenever I touch it, I can like fly like 45 feet.
What?
And it's like a skill I can do in every dream. And people don't believe me in my dream, and I'm like, watch this. And then I can...
Oh, I thought you meant people don't believe you in real life. I was like, huh?
No, like in my dream, they don't
You're
believe
like
me. And I'm like...
Superman.
And I like...
You're like Batman.
In one of my dreams, a reoccurring theme is that there's always this cruise ship on the back of the mountain that I grew up on. And it doesn't make any sense.
There's what?
A cruise ship on the back of the mountain.
I'm trying to visualize that.
I know.
I'm visualizing a cruise ship just balancing and hanging off. It's shot into
the
mountain.
It's in the ocean.
Stuck into it on its side.
But it's on a mountain. Anyways, I'm always, in my dream, I'm like, I found this Mercedes in one of my dreams. Mm-hmm. And I, like, somehow
You found a Mercedes and a yacht.
A Mercedes vehicle, like, SUV, and I, like, found it, and then I moved it in my dream to, like, a location, and I thought I was hiding it, and I thought the police would never find it again, and then I could just, it could be my car, I could drive it around, mm-hmm. and I'm always recovering this Mercedes.
That's really weird that you have reoccurring dreams.
In my dreams, and I'm always finding this vehicle, and I'm always driving it to the back of the mountain to go to this cruise ship, which is in...
What does this mean?
A lot of my...
This means something. Your mind is telling you something.
I'm on the cruise ship a lot, and there's always random people that have been in and out of my life on the cruise ship, and...
So this is different nights you've been on the cruise ship?
Different nights. Sometimes I stay asleep for 7 more hours just so I can go and dream, just because it's so entertaining to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You need to write a book about this.
So whenever I, like, wake up, my alarm will go off, and I'll wake up, and then I'll go back to sleep for 10 minutes, and I'll wake up and go back to sleep for 10 minutes, wake up and go back to sleep for 10 minutes.
No way.
Yeah.
That's like kind of a skill. Like, if I wake up, I like cannot go back to sleep.
I do that like 10 times, and then I finally wake up.
Wow.
But every time I go back in, I'm dreaming again.
That's interesting that you could, like, literally, like, you kind of trained your mind to do that in a way. But not really.
I mean, I told my friend once, I was like, yeah, I keep having this watch in my dream. I don't know what it means. And, like, I can always have this one skill I can always do. And it happens in every dream. And he's like, dude, you're lucid dreaming. And I'm like, what? He's like, if you see your watch in your dream, try and look at it when you're dreaming, and it won't make sense.
Oh, is that what lucid dreaming means?
Like,
people always use that word.
If you can have any sort of conception of time during your dream, apparently you're aware that you're lucid dreaming. And he says it happens when you have a watch on in your dream. They always see it. And I didn't know this, and he told me that, and I was like, whoa.
Have you looked at it ever since?
It's been hard to look at. I mean, it just happens. I just press it without really looking at it.
It just happens every time.
And it's blurry, so it's usually, I don't really, it's just like, it's on my watch, so I do it subconsciously, basically. Mm-hmm. And I can fly like 45 feet. And
I'm sorry.
It's absurd.
I'm picturing you flying.
I know. It's amazing. Like, you can imagine why I like to go to sleep.
You shoot up into the air.
Yeah, it's so
Where do you go?
I just float down, and then it's just some random skill I can do.
That sounds like an Adventure Time episode.
It's ridiculous.
But with like technology.
And like I always go to this cruise ship, and like there's always water, there's always a pool and all this weird stuff. It's like a resort. And then there's like different people that were like teachers at one point in my life.
What?
And they're like,
this has to mean something.
And this happens a lot. I have this dream a lot.
That's really weird. Something's telling you. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying about this cat. Things happen for a reason.
I could talk about dreams for a while, but
yeah.
Anyways.
Well, thank you for having me, Jordan.
Thank you.
This was really fun. I'm also like, what the fuck? What is this?
That's just like a random fun little desk toy.
Love it.
Look at this one.
Yeah, I was looking at that one. Wow. That is an ADHD's wet dream right there.
Right.
Holy shit. Okay, done.